Hello everyone, this is the Crimson Cure, welcoming you to the Crimson Tower, a place where we keep a feminine foot on the neck of the gynocracy, feminism, and black male misandry. So go ahead, pull up a chair, stay a while, and listen.
See, wherever I go, stay ready, stay alert, always prepared for whatever. I see me. There's a seat right here. You can see from all angles. I'm ready. It's time to get down to business. Game time.
Hi, honey. I know you just made it to the library, but love of my life, my hero, my lion, you forgot your A game. So come home, take it, and then you can go and conquer the world, black man. Oh, and one more thing. Would it kill you to just wear some socks? I'm just saying. Love you. And can you bring home some milk?
Oh, man. She be killing me. Okay, I'll go back. I'm gonna get my A game. I'm not putting them socks on. I'm good. I'm fly. I'm fresh. I'm gonna stop at 7-Eleven and get some milk.
Hey Crimsonites, how you doing? I got 73 awesome Crimsonites, but I only got 42 likes, so please, excuse me, help me get the likes up, please. A little heads up, my apologies beforehand. I took my car in this morning for maintenance, so the mechanic may call me. If he does it while I'm on the show, which I'm pretty sure he's going to, I may have to pause and take that call. So I'm apologizing beforehand for the potential interruption to the show. I don't mean to be rude, but I'm not really able to ignore that call because this is a different place and I've never taken my car to that place. So I just want to give everybody a heads up about that. Who we got? We got Spawn of Greatness. How are you, Great Britain? Hey Bishop, and thank you so much, Bishop in Great Britain, for the super chats. I really appreciate it. And walaikum assalam. Prodigy, hey, Anime, Malika, C, we got 5034, David Thomas, we got Omani, Quentin, Zeke the Prospector, Sage the Lotus, Petway Boy, hey Third Ward, Foreign Skies, hi Foreign Skies, welcome, Audrey Ford, TD Tellum. Okay, so we got, hey Miss Danica, glad to see you, beloved. Thank you so much, sweetheart. Y'all just don't know, when me and Danica hook up, we gonna set the internet on fire. You understand that? Fire. That's gonna be fire. Okay, listen, I want you to look into my eyes. Fire. You understand that? Okay, because I done watched the sister now. She get over there and she be cooking. I done seen the sister cook. Hey Jaquan. She be taking me out with the zoom in. The zoom in takes me out, sis. Cause you know you gonna make a face when you do that zoom in. That takes me all the way out, girl. I be dying. Like, look at sis. Hey, Black Excellence. Hey, Raven Speaks. Hey, Sandra. Hey, Eugene. Larry. Otho Williams. Hi. Okay. So I got my disclaimer out of the way about my potential phone call. So, oh yeah, the Boop fan is here. Hey, Y Skinner. So once again, I apologize preemptively for that. But a lot of stuff been on my mind lately. My ethnicity, I'm a black woman, American born. I know this sometimes throw people off. Hey E14, how you doing? So, a lot of things have been on my mind lately concerning women, you know. Oh, no. And among the things that I would have wanted to talk about, this one seemed important. Not being loyal. And of course, I have my notes. So, in a lot of cases, when we think about women not being loyal, one of the first things that gets blamed is her hypergamy, right? Well, she's hypergamous, so that prevents her from being loyal. That's not exactly true. Not really. Okay, because here's the thing. Hypergamy, when it is under order, is a benefit to the group. Okay, Cornelius. Hypergamy under order is a benefit to the group. When it's not under any type of order, it's a detriment to the group. Okay? One thing that I need to be understood is that the nature of both men and women can act as something that progresses the individual and the group forward, or it can stunt the individual and or the group if it is utilized for the good or for the bad. Female nature is not necessarily a bad thing. It is simply the nature of women. And I don't like to demonize it because, of course, I'm a woman and I have female nature like every other woman in the world. So I'm not going to demonize female nature because I'm a female. And I'm not going to demonize female nature. But I'm also not going to demonize male nature. Just because I'm not a man doesn't mean that male nature gets to, I get to have a go at male nature either. Because the nature of a thing is simply the nature of it. And there's nothing you can do about it. A male has male nature because he's born with it. Maybe it's Maybelline, maybe he's born with it. He's born with it. So women are the same thing. However, I'm not concentrated on the men today. I'm concentrated on the women today. And our lack of loyalty is not necessarily hinged on hypergamy. It's hypergamy out of order. When there is no accountability for our use of hypergamy, then that's when we get into trouble. And we're in that type of trouble nowadays due to this very liberated way that we live. Walaikum assalam, Maher. This very liberated way that we live. Okay, in a society that is gynocratically based, women are given freedoms that typically under a patriarchal system, women are not given. Because when we think about the past and we think about the life of a woman, if we think 100 years ago, or we think in other cultures and settings, women don't have complete autonomy of their own lives. And that may be strange for an American woman to hear or even to say. But because we don't live in that time and we didn't grow up in that time, it's hard to imagine women overall not really having, at any point in her life, 100% autonomy. Do y'all following me with that so far? Do you agree with that so far? Okay. I don't know if you agree with me, but if we think about it, a woman in the past didn't have autonomy as a child, right? Because she's a child in her parents' home. When she grows up and becomes of age, she is then given to a man to be in his household as the wife. But in a patriarchal system, she does not have complete autonomy. Her decisions are not completely her own, because when she was growing up in her parents' house, those are her parents' decisions, mainly her father's decisions. And when she gets of age and becomes a wife, the decisions of her life are not necessarily hers, they're her husband's decisions. So when we think about the life of women of the past, they never really fully had complete autonomy over the trajectory of their lives. Their lives were dictated from birth to death by the men in their lives. They're from their fathers to, you know, what a patriarch there was in her family, to her husband. So women didn't have that kind of autonomy. She wasn't really able to set the trajectory of her own life. Now, in the modern day, thank you, Ruminant, for the cash out. In the modern day, that sounds weird. Okay? In the modern day, to the modern day women, that sounds weird and it sounds oppressive, because we live in a society now that says that women ought to have 100% autonomy over their lives like the men do. Okay? And that we are just as capable of having that level of autonomy as the men are, which this is a hard pill to swallow for a lot of modern women, but we don't. We don't really have what it takes to be able to have complete autonomy like the men do. And it's because it's due to our nature that we don't. And I'm not saying these things to run women down, because I'm included in everything that I'm saying right now. I'm completely included in this. Okay? So I'm not somehow excluded out of the group. As a woman, I am included in the group. My nature is not any different than any other woman's nature. The only difference it becomes is in our behavior, but not our natures. How you doing there, Dr. Michelle? So it's strange in this feminist-driven gynocratic society for women to think that we don't have what it takes to be able to have complete autonomy like men. What we consider that to be is making us like children. And that's kind of another aspect that women don't like to think about. Again, this isn't about running women down. This is about opening our eyes to who we are, what we're capable of, and what we're not so capable of, and why the patriarchal system worked for so long, and why this gynocratic system doesn't really work. Because the gynocratic system is not based on the truth of our biology. It's not based on the truth. It's based on the construct of a false biology. Which is why in the natural world, without the construct, this does not work. If we were all to return to non-modern civilization, then a patriarchal system would take place. Naturally, it would naturally take place. It would not naturally be a gynocracy, because all of the dangers that we face outside of the protection of our cities and the constructs of men, we would need men to help us navigate and to help us be protected and survive in those different settings like women have always needed. And the reason why we as women don't have really what it takes to be autonomous is because the basics of what a human being needs to truly be secure, only men actually can do that. When we take a look, and yes, I'm taking you back to the charts. When we take a look at the 4 Ps, this is the essence of male nature, not human nature. So it is not bi-directional. This is something that is within men to do. The protection, the provision, the problem solving, the protection, and the procreation are all things that men must participate to do so that women can be okay and survive. We do not have natural foresight. Our foresight is very limited. And this is just by design. This is not because we're stupid. It's not because we're idiots. It's not because we don't have brains. It's just because foresight is a masculine trait and it is not a feminine trait. Now that doesn't mean we don't have any foresight at all. We do have some, but not to the degree that men have it, okay? And it goes hand in hand with the problem solving. Thank you, Zeke. It goes hand in hand with the problem solving because it takes foresight to resolve problems 9 times out of 10. Because a man is not only able to resolve an issue right there, but also to resolve issues that might be in the future also, to foresee any issues that may arise where he needs to problem solve he needs to solve a problem tomorrow, today. So that when tomorrow comes, it's not a problem. And this is something that women are unable to do for the most part. Our foresight is very limited, and our problem solving ability is limited by the way we think. Women have a tendency to think in a circular way rather than a linear way. Even when women get together to solve problems, rarely do we choose a woman to lead us. We do so by committee. Okay, we discuss things and we try to resolve things by committee, not by here, this woman is in charge, we pick her and then we just do what she says. We don't really do that because women see each other as peers, not in a hierarchy. So I'm getting to the loyalty part because I'm setting up for you what's happening, right? So we have our own natures. And they are what they are. Protection is something that men give us because women find it difficult to protect ourselves from various dangers, either physically or emotionally. On the physical level, it's pretty obvious, right? If we're in a situation where we're being threatened by a group or we're being threatened by a single individual, if that individual isn't a woman that I think I can deal with, then I'm probably in a lot of trouble, okay? And so protecting myself becomes a very interesting thing for me to try to do, which is why it behooves women to not be confrontational and not be this rah-rah, I'm in everybody's face kind of deal, because you can't dictate the reaction that you're gonna get. And if it's the right or the wrong person, they might give you a reaction you can't handle. So when a woman is feminine, we don't actually go places and have altercations and have arguments with people and confront people and everything is a problem and I gotta say something. Like, no, because we are thinking of what if something gets out of hand and I'm not able to protect myself, right? Because even if we have husbands and things like that, what if he's not there? What if he's not there at that particular moment to do anything? So it becomes something that we have to take responsibility for, not putting ourselves in certain situations that require us to be protected, especially on a physical level. So this is where, you know, being mindful of where you are, being mindful of your environment, the time of day or night, you know, what's going on around you, that becomes very important because protection is important. And the first step of protection is protecting ourselves by keeping ourselves out of certain situations, not getting into the situation and then hoping somebody comes to rescue us. Okay? Because that's what the gynocrat likes to do. She likes to get into situations and, you know, recklessly, and then hope and pray that somebody will come along and get her out of it. Okay? A feminine woman doesn't do that. What we try to do is just avoid situations like that in the first place. Not being reckless, not being unmindful of what we're saying, what we're doing, where we are, the people around us, not going to sketchy places, sketchy areas, doing sketchy stuff, right? So a lot of times a feminine woman's life it doesn't have to be boring, but it's not exciting in a chaotic way either. If she's got some excitement going on in her life, it's probably under some type of structure. Now, me personally, I'm a boring Betty. I'm a boring Betty. I go to work, I come home. And then I go to work on YouTube, and then like I cook something to eat, and then like I exercise, and then like I go to bed. That is my life, right? That's my life. So I'm very much a boring Betty, but I'm not saying that a feminine woman must be boring. It's just that my life is devoid of chaotic, just goings ons. Everything is crazy, you know, or whatever. So the modern woman, again, finds it very difficult to understand why women in past societies have not had autonomy 100%. Okay, this is part of what feminism was trying to get women away from. Oh, you deserve 100% autonomy because you're a person like he is. We are people like men are. We're not less human than they are. We're less capable than they are. And I want women to understand that we're not less human than men. You know, if you are spiritual or religious, you know that we're not less human, because if you're a Muslim or a Christian, then you know that the Most High's punishment and reward is the same for men and women. So there's a heaven and a hell for men and women. So because the punishment is the same, the expectation and requirement is the same. And when the requirement is the same, that means that we are both capable of rising to spiritual height or going to spiritual depth. Right? So in our humanity, we are completely equal, because even in the Quran, Allah saying, English interpretation, when he's talking about the humanity, the spiritual, the core, he's saying the men and the women, the Muslim and the Muslimat, okay? He's saying the men and the women, the men and the women, the men and the women, the men and the women. And he's doing that on purpose because Arabic is a masculine language. And even if you're talking to a group of women, if there's one man in that group, you have to make masculine terms, because you can't speak to men in feminine terms. But Allah made a point in that verse to say the men and the women, the men and the women, the men and the women. Okay, because in that instance, he was talking about our humanity. And we're equal there. It's the only place we're equal. In our natures, we are not. They are more capable than we are in many areas. And when it comes to survival, men are simply more capable. So I hope I didn't lose anyone when I was talking about that. I know sometimes I'll go into something that is Islamic or pertains to it. Again, I don't intend to exclude anyone or make this just about Muslims or something. So here's one of the things. Feminism has stunted women's emotional growth by playing into our natural propensity for chaos. And it tells us that we can have it all. We can have all the things simultaneously, even if the things that we want are naturally mutually exclusive. Okay? Feminism plays to the chaos of women by feeding us the fantasy that we can have it all, even if having it all includes mutually exclusive things. This is why Disney movies have an effect on girls that it doesn't have on boys, because it is fantasy, and women are prone, because we have natural chaos, we are prone to the fantasies. Women will engage their fantasy more often than men do, because fantasy is rooted in chaos, but it is also rooted in emotion. So we attach good to things that make us feel good, even if they are not good in reality. In this manner, feminism stunts the emotional growth of women, because it makes it where we are not required to elevate or excel, because there is no standard of accountability and there is no order. Do we understand? I know I'm saying a lot, but my Crimsonites are so on it. Y'all are so on it. Because feminism removes leadership of masculine authority, and it goes hand in hand, because women do not have inherent authority, because we do not have inherent order. We have inherent chaos, which puts us in a position of needing to follow, because we are needing to be put into order. By removing this cap, it is really the opening of Pandora's box. If we look at Pandora's box, first of all, the box has a feminine name, Pandora. And the box contained all chaos, all. Okay, so the box represented the vessel of the feminine. It was the feminine. That is what Pandora's box represents, the vessel of the feminine. And opening it was a danger to just open Pandora's box. You just didn't open Pandora's box. Okay? It was enough to know it was over there. We don't go get it and open it up. Because when you just let chaos run free outside of the protection of order, you doom the world. You doom it. There's a doom in that. Women do not or should not have leadership because we don't have order. I was reading an article that was sent to me about a certain politician's entourage or their staff being in a disarray because communication is not there, order is missing. Who's the politician I'm talking about? Just a wild guess. Who? Who I'm talking about? Her staff is in a disarray. Who I'm talking about? Andre got it. Kamala. Our vice president is a woman in a position of leadership. She cannot keep her staff in order because she is a woman that operates in chaos. She does not even have the leadership of her husband that is guiding what she does. In the article, the staff members were saying, oh, she planned a trip and didn't tell us, and we're the ones that are responsible for the travel plans, all of these various components. We have to make sure that things are going well, that the reason is okay, that, you know, we can keep continuity from between her movements and Biden's movements and the reasons why they're doing stuff. And because she doesn't have good communication, she's out of order. So her staff is what? Out of order. It's out of order. Because for all of her education, for all of her strides, for all of the things that she calls herself have done, she's still a woman that is in chaos until some man brings order to her. This is one reason why one of the sayings of the prophet, peace be upon him, was saying a nation is doomed if they choose a woman as their leader. Dooms a nation. Was he trying to make women seem stupid or incompetent? No. It wasn't about that. It was about a female has her nature. It does not lend itself to leadership. She's chaotic. Even if she doesn't want to be, even if she doesn't mean to be, even if there's no malicious intent behind it, chaos is still chaos. And it doesn't lend itself to having things in order. There's a reason why we say things are in divine order. Things are in divine order because order is a part of divinity. The Most High is an orderly being. Now, because it's the Most High, there is both energies. The Most High contain all energy, masculine and feminine, which is how he was able to create feminine energy. Okay? However, masculine energy contains authority and order naturally, which is why the male was created first, and he was in divine order. He brought order. Even if we want to look at the story of Adam in an allegorical sense or a metaphorical sense or even in a literal sense, he began to name things. That's putting stuff in order. That's putting stuff in order. Hawa or Eve didn't do that. She had to follow the order that was already set before she got there. Thank you, Mahir. So feminism teaches women a false biology. It gives us a false sense of who we are by telling us that our natural feminine position is a bad thing. It's bad. And it's bad because it's inferior to the male position. That was supposed to be bad. Okay? Being number 2 to the number 1 was supposed to be bad. And they made us believe it was bad, which subconsciously translated to us that being a woman was bad. That's a bad thing. It's a weak thing. It's a stupid thing. Following is weak. Submission is weak. Listening and coming under order is weak. This is a weak position, and women shouldn't want to do it because it makes you weak and stupid. And men do not respect weak and stupid. Only problem is it's not weak or stupid. And I'll tell you the truth. I had to fight that for years because I was not given, like many of you, not given a good feminine representative in my life. I did not like the position of being a female. I didn't like it. Not because of the submission part, but because of the chaos part. I didn't like all that chaos. I didn't like all that craziness. And I'm like, is this what it is to be a woman? If I'm to be a woman, I gotta be in this kind of level of chaos. I got to. Now, mind you, this is occurring in the mind of like a 10-year-old girl. So I'm like 10, okay? I'm not grown. I'm like 10 thinking this. So I'm like, okay, I gotta do this stuff? Because I'm looking at the women around me like, this don't seem right. Now, like many black women, I was raised in a hyena clan. The family on my mama's side are all hyenas and maggles, every last one of them. Every last one of them. Not a lioness, or a lion in sight. All of them was hyenas. All of them. All of them was wild. All of them was chaotic. When they were married, they were the masculine one in the relationship. So there's this, you fight me when you're not. I give so much like kudos and love to women who were raised correctly in a 2-parent home where the father is patriarchal and the mother knows what's up, because she had less of a fight to try to even understand her position as a woman than other women who were raised in the depths, in the belly of the gynocracy, where all you see is gynocratic activity that is being pawned off as normal to you. And then having to be like, wait a minute, how do you be a woman? Thank you, Don Baracho. Because having to fight out of the belly of the gynocracy is not fun. Let me just say that. There's nothing fun about it. It is very difficult. Very difficult to rid yourself in the mind and in the heart from the rot and the taint that it will do to your vessel. This is why it's so effective. It's effective because women are socialized by other women. That's part of our nature as well. It plays on the most chaotic parts of a woman's nature anyway. So that's why it's so easy to kind of just, but I ended up disliking a lot because I didn't understand. I'm a little girl, about 10, 11, and I'm looking at the women in my family, and I'm not liking what I'm seeing. Even though I could put my finger on why, it just didn't seem right to me. It was just seemed like something was wrong. But I didn't understand what was wrong with it. I just didn't like it. I didn't like the level of chaos. They were always into something. It was always something. It was all bad stuff. It was never peaceful. It was never calm. And I'm a real laid back type of person. I like chilling. I like chilling. I don't like a whole lot of stuff going on around me. I like it just chill. Like I'm in my happy place when there's nothing going on. I get anxious when it's a lot going on and I don't know what's up and it's chaotic. I get real, my anxiety go up, all kind of stuff, right? So I don't like it because I just don't like it. And it's rowdy. I don't like rowdy because rowdy means trouble. Rowdy means trouble. So I had to fight that. And a lot of us as Black women, if we're not in the gynocracy or we have to fight our way out of it, it's difficult to do that. And to truthfully honest, as a little girl, I didn't like girls. I didn't like girls and women from what I saw of them. I had to, it only changed when first I got a little older and I began to recognize that that's not really how women are even supposed to be. That being a woman doesn't mean all this bad stuff. It didn't have to. It didn't have to mean that. So that began to change like my mind. Because I'm like, okay, well, I'm a woman. At some point, I'm going to have to be a woman, right? Because I told y'all I patterned myself after the men in my life. Because it just seemed like it was order in it. Seemed like a better deal to me. What helped me do it was maturity. I got older. And number two, I began to try to do something with my spiritual self, which leads to this. Something with my spiritual self. I knew that it must begin there. I just knew it had to start there. Which is why I'm so in love with the 10 life values, because number one, being spiritual is so true. Like, that's so true, right? Okay, I told you all about the phone call. So please give me one moment. Hold on. My apologies once again. My apologies once again. I tried to just make sure to warn you guys that I needed to take that phone call. Once again, I don't mean to be rude and break up the show, but it was extremely important that I take that call. So I apologize. So we can get back to this. So again, this is why I'm so in love with the 10 life values, because spiritual being first is an absolute truth. Absolutely true. Because when we take the time to address ourselves spiritually, it begins the long but rewarding fight against the backwards value system that the gynocracy gives us as women. Okay? Oh yeah, everything is fine. It was just my mechanic, and I needed to talk to them before they closed. So it's not like some type of emergency or anything. Thank you for being concerned though. So it's definitely true. It's gotta start in the spiritual value for us to begin to deal with our lack of principles, because the gynocracy, by removing leadership, removing male authority, removing order, removing all of these things from women, not only stunts our emotional growth, and it does it because it doesn't require us to do anything. Women have to be pushed to be better. We're not going to find, unless the Most High just bless us, we're not going to find the motivation within ourselves, because it takes order, it takes structure, it takes a system to bring it out of us, to push us into directions that we need to go. We need to have requirements set for us in order to be better women. And in the absence of a direct male over you, you gotta get some type of spiritual system. Now, the wonderful thing about the 10 life values is it doesn't tell you what to do. It just tells you, kind of how, right? How to get yourself in order. So we can't tell you gotta be Muslim, or you gotta be Christian, or you gotta be a Hebrew, or you gotta be a Buddhist, or you gotta be any particular thing, right? What you have to do though is get yourself spiritually in order though. You have to be able to understand who you are. You have to be able to have it straight, what your principles are, what your code is, how you gonna live as a person. What are you about as a person? And this is the thing that modern women aren't faced with. We're not faced to find out what we're about. We're so honed in on our chaos and our whims. That doesn't define what we're about though. If you ask the average modern woman who she is really at the core, she might start telling you what she does. She might start telling you what she has. But she won't. She'll be hard pressed to tell you who she is at the core of her being. And that's what the spiritual value actually helps you to do. It helps you to figure out who you are at the core of your being. Personally, Islam helped me with this because it is a system and order and structure that has a high rate of accountability. You think I wear this for fun? There's an accountability that comes with this. There's also a responsibility that comes with this. Because first there's accountability to the Most High. Because these are his orders. This is order. This is not my order. I didn't make this up. The second level of accountability is to the Muslims. The Muslims know I'm supposed to have it on. Even the non-Muslims know I'm supposed to have it on. I'm responsible for my behavior as I present myself to the world as a Muslim because people have expectation of that. So I'm responsible. This creates accountability and responsibility just on my appearance value alone. I'm not expected to get up and start twerking. People would be like, what? And I would immediately lose all respect from everybody. If I showed up in front of y'all without it on, I ain't had nothing on my head. You can see my hair, you know, because I thought it was cute that day. And then you can see my cleavage. And again, you'd be like, what? She done fell off. I ain't listening to her. And the reason why I would lose you and you lose your respect is because there's an accountability that I'm not meeting. There's a responsibility that I'm not meeting. See, my mouth said I was about this, and then I came through about something else. So now it's all cap. It's cap. You ain't really about the life you said. It's cap. What else are you lying about? No. We're not listening to none of that. Because you're not standing true to whatever you said you was about. You're not standing true. This is what the spiritual value have you to do. You need some type of principle or some type of code you living by or something where you're standing true to that unwaveringly. Not one day, you go when the wind blow and, you just out here. That's what a lot of modern women, they just out here. And they going when the wind blow. Just whatever happened to them just happened. It's just happening around them. It's just happening to them. That's not how we're supposed to live as people, let alone as women. That's why the spiritual value is an anchor. And it helps us in this fight against the social programming, and because we're inundated with accepting a value system that is not good. Thank you, Tony S. Modern women are not required to fall under any leadership. This degrades women. They tried to make us feel like being a woman was a bad thing, and it is not. I'm telling you, I was infected with that at one point. Being a woman, this is a bad thing. Why we gotta be so chaotic? Why we gotta be so crazy? Why we so crazy? Why are we crazy? Like, that was a legit question that I was asking myself. Like, why are women crazy? I don't understand that. Until, like I said, I got older, I got into something else, I began to realize other things. And it's like, okay, we actually don't have to be that way. That's number one. So, there's other paths we may take here that actually help us to discover our power as women. That the Most High or whomever you believe in or whatever, Walaikum Assalam, Charles, did not curse us to be women. There's something very beautiful in femininity and female nature. But that beauty can only be discovered and the light shone on it, and it be something that we can move forward with ourselves. We progress as individuals and the group is benefited by it only after there's order brought to it. Order has to be brought to it. Women aren't loyal because they don't have a value system that makes them accountable to any decision that they make. Everything is this microwavable instant gratification. If it's not serving me right now in the heat and the moment of my emotions, then I don't have to do it. And you know, sis, you don't have to do nothing that don't serve you, sis. And define serve you. Define serving you. Because nowadays, stuff that don't serve me means stuff that don't make me feel good. Regardless of whether or not this is destructive. Even if I'm in the midst of being chaotic and destructive, I have to feel good about it. She's not loyal because she can't stand by a decision. She thinks everything can be better. She could just do more. She could just get the next thing and the next thing and the next thing and the next thing. And it leads to malcontent. Women are not content. Constantly the search for something better, because we're not being fulfilled, and we're not being fulfilled because we have abandoned the order of things. We have abandoned it. So there's an emptiness now, and that constant search, that reads out as disloyalty is a search to fill a void that is only filled by conforming to the nature and the order of things. This is not some horrible punishment. The value of women goes way up when we submit under the order of things. Because generally speaking, men don't like weakness. They don't like what they perceive as stupid, ignorant, weak. Thank you, Eric. So I used to think Islam was oppressive to women. I just started to read the Quran and understand why the strict discipline is needed. Look no further than how feminism has destroyed the community. Exactly. And thank you so much, Eric. The disloyalty is trying to fill that pit that can only be filled by one thing. This is why women like Camille Cosby or any other woman that you may be able to think of in your personal life, even if you are that woman, that's why you support your husband. That's why you do these things. You stay. This is why the loyalty is necessary, because she's fulfilled. She don't have a reason to go nowhere else and do nothing else. There's no reason. Literally. No reason. Once we get that fulfillment, we allow the fulfillment. We gotta allow it. Then we can allow ourselves to come to some type of balance and equilibrium. That's where you can have contentment of the heart. These women are not content because they are not under order. Can't be content in chaos. You can't be content in chaos. It's not possible. Exactly, Dr. Michelle said, disloyalty happens first with God, and this disloyalty is reflected with the husband. Exactly. Exactly. That disloyalty to the order of the Most High, because that's the first order. That's the order before your husband is an order. That's the order that he under. He under the order. So when a woman is out of order, she's first, like Dr. Michelle said, she's first out of order with the Most High. She out of order with everything that she's supposed to be doing as a woman. Just as a woman. Before we even get to a man, she out of order as a woman, as a servant of the Most High, she's out of order. And if she out of order with the one that's got a heaven and a hell to put her in, she definitely gonna be out of order with a guy. I don't care who he is. So the conversation circles back to the things that I was saying in the beginning, why women didn't have complete autonomy over their own lives. It seems oppressive, but really it's there to bring structure. Because we're living in a time where women do have autonomy over their own lives. Their fathers aren't choosing their husbands. They choosing their own mates. And they're doing it in a chaotic fashion that is breeding more chaos, more trouble, higher levels of threat, community-wide, not even just in her individual life, but how the environment is affected. This is why women were not given these choices. It was left to men. And a lot of modern women have that as a bitter pill to swallow. This is why I was going over the 4 P's and stuff. Because we don't actually have that. Because if we had provision, problem solving, and protection capabilities, the procreation wouldn't be so chaotic. But women are going on what? Our emotions. Our emotional state. you know, if we happen to be hot at that time, or, you know, or what, or whatever. We making all kinds of life-altering decisions based on our temporary emotional state. And that's never a good thing. It's not a good thing. They didn't like to hear that, Dr. Michelle. She says, and for women, our God-given purpose is our husbands, and together carrying out that God-given vision and mission. They don't like to hear that. When I said probably a year and a half, 2 years ago, that the business of women is men, the purpose of women is men, I got so much pushback for that. I got a ton of pushback for saying that. But what else is your purpose? Howard was created at Adam's request. He wanted a mate. He saw everything else had a mate but him. Where mine at? That was the next question. Where mine at? I want one. Everything is in pairs except for me. That's how she even came about. She was there to serve his purpose, and he was serving God's purpose. The only time we can't really serve under a man like that is if we're trying to serve God's purpose and he not. He way out there. He ain't trying to serve under the Most High. That's the only time we can be like, even in Islam, Allah give us that right. We don't have a whole lot of reasons why we can divorce our husbands, but that's one of them. If he spiritually fall off like that, the marriage is, all we got to do is go right to the judge and be like, he ain't really Muslim. He don't make his prayer. He don't be going to the masjid. He said some real crazy stuff about Allah. He was denying stuff out the Quran. I don't want to be married to him. The judge immediately like, oh, okay, you're not married to him. You can find you another husband, sister. Because they know he got to be serving his purpose for you to properly serve yours. You can't even do it. That's why spirituality is first. You got to set it right with you. You got to understand who you are, why you here, what you doing, what you supposed to be doing as a human being and as a woman. If you can't get that straight, you can't get nothing else straight. That's why if that spiritual value ain't straight, all the other 9 of them is going to be crazy. All of them crazy. Many women, we don't do no introspection. We don't try to find out what we supposed to be doing. We just go with what this society say. hook, line, and sinker, and we don't question it. We just go blindly through life. We are blind, deaf, and dumb. We don't see nothing we supposed to see. We don't allow ourselves to hear anything that can get us on the right track. And we're dumb. We don't speak what we need to speak. We speak that foolishness that we are allowed to get into our heads and come into our ears and go to our hearts. That's why they don't like patriarchy. Because it brings us into order. It just makes us accountable for stuff. We have to be accountable for our decisions. If you marry a man, you can't just up and not be with him because you don't like it anymore. Because you get bored with it. You don't just, you're not allowed. One little thing go on and you ready to call it a quit. But this is your decision. You agreed. Because even in a patriarchal situation that your father is picking husbands for you, he has to get agreement from you to do this. Even in an arranged marriage, they looking for you to say yeah. So you got into it with this man. Y'all had troubles, ups and downs in your relationships. You're not willing to stick nothing out or figure nothing out. You're just ready to roll because you think you can get another one. You think you can just pick up, get another guy. It'll all be the same. You ain't gotta have no accountability to nothing. That's crazy. It's crazy. It has done nothing but ruin us. We ain't getting nothing good out of that. Nothing. Then they want to sit around and bash our grandmothers and great grandmothers for staying in their relationship. Girl, I wouldn't have put up with that. Yeah, but that's what your problem is. You ain't quote unquote putting up with nothing. Big Mama kept a man for 50 years because she was willing to work stuff out. She wasn't willing to throw her family away. She wasn't willing to throw her kids away. She wasn't willing to throw her marriage away. She wasn't willing to do it. Everything got to go in the garbage. She was thinking about, I done been here for 35 years too, And I don't want my time to not count for nothing, so we gonna work on this. I'm not just gonna up and just do what my kids gonna do. If I do that, what my kids gonna do? The kids need their dad. I need my husband. It had to be, for our big mamas and stuff to really be leaving, it had to be some show enough going on. Some show enough. But other than that, loyalty, because she was being fulfilled. She was allowing herself to remain under the order. And she knew enough about life, and she had enough emotional maturity to know that this isn't all about, you know what I'm saying, roses and sunshine every day. It's just not. This is work. This is why they like weddings, but they don't like marriages. Because it's work being a wife. You got some work to do. You got some work to put in. You got some hours to clock in. You don't just get no free ride. You don't just get to get married and then kick your feet up like you ain't got nothing to do. You got a whole bunch of stuff to do. Matter of fact, the wedding is day one of your work career. You got a whole lot to do. Everything get on your plate then. He was being nice with you when you were just dating. You mess around and get married, all that workload is yours. I don't want what you thought. Now my expectations just went up tenfold. Now you gotta do this, and you gotta do it. And ain't no use in frowning about it, because we expect them to do this, and that, and we expect them to do it. If he starts slacking off and we don't like this and that, you know what I'm saying, then we got a problem. But if we don't like it the other way, if he see us slacking off, then we don't want him to say nothing and all of that kind of stuff. No. Loyalty come with a value system. You don't have loyalty when you don't have a proper value system that puts things into perspective for you so that you can live your life properly. Dr. Michelle says she in here dropping gems, y'all. It's the most rewarding work. Some people only dream of the opportunity for this work. It's work that rejuvenates you when you understand it's the highest level of service. Yeah, definitely. The work of a wife is not easy. I'm gonna make a video about the work of a wife. It's not simple. Let me rephrase that. The work of a wife is simple, but it's not always easy. Conceptually, it's simple. Easy, not all the time. Sometimes it is. Your tests come as a wife when things aren't going, quote unquote, how you think they should go. When your emotions feel away and you still gotta be a wife. Them days where you can look at him and be like, I don't know. I just don't know. And you still get up. You still cook the breakfast. You still kiss him and pray for him and see to him and see to his kids and see to his home and see to yourself and see to these things and continue to do your work. Uninterrupted, without a break or a pause. Many a day, I had to just pray. Take them emotions and all of that kind of stuff. I didn't bring them to my husband. I didn't set those at his feet because he had enough to do. I took those to my Creator. That's the beauty of your own spiritual value. Because I could take them to the Creator and sort them out. Work it out. First, you got to work it out in yourself. You got to work that out in yourself. That's why the self-work is so important. If you're not used to doing no self-work, you think he's supposed to do all your work for you. And that's not how that go. Now he there, he gonna give you leadership, he gonna give you SOS, but he ain't there to do your work for you. You gotta do your work. And when you ain't willing to do your work, that means you ain't willing to have what you think you ought to have and what you think you deserve. Because we don't deserve nothing we ain't working for. Feminism got it all messed up like you entitled to stuff you ain't working for. You don't deserve nothing you ain't working for. How you deserve a happy marriage but you don't put no work in to get that? That's like wanting $1 million and you don't do not a damn thing to get $1 million. Sit there hoping and wishing and hope it fall out the sky. That's not how that works. That's not how any of this works. I'm here to help women to get the veil off of their eyes, to get the illusions away. We can't operate in illusion and delusion. We can't operate under these things. We got to operate in the reality of things. Feminism already got you all messed up. Thinking one thing is this and this thing is that. And it's nothing like that at all. It's all a lie. Everything they teach you, everything they say that you're supposed to value and all that, all of it is lies. And it's there to lead you to destruction and help you lead others to destruction as well. This is spiritual work. And it is a spiritual battle. We are not fighting physical things. Feminism is not a physical being. It's an ideology. This is taking place in the abstract world. But the consequences are concrete. You don't deserve fulfillment if you're not doing the things that actually bring you fulfillment. You're getting what you earn. You're earning chaos and trouble and threat and crazyment. So that's what you're getting. Driving you crazy. How many women are taking antidepressants and they got bipolar and this and that? It's driving you crazy. We not meant to be here and be crazy. Half that stuff, they got you thinking you don't even want to do it anyway. Just like Just Jay just said, I remember when I was younger and I could see commercials, women saying I could work on a railroad like a man. Boop! Boop! I ain't trying to get out there and sweating and pick up a sledgehammer or whatever they got. That's why I've been saying, girl, I'm going to say this and then I'm going to go. Just like, you know, one of the most ridiculous things that I see nowadays. And it's so silly. Thank you, AB. Y'all want to put one in the chat if y'all want to know one of the most ridiculous things that I've seen. Is women on construction sites. It's something happened to the pit of my stomach when I see a woman on a construction site. Hey, Shamu says my mama's cooking. You know why it bothered me so much? Because she getting the same pay as that man getting, and she ain't doing that work. You know what they be doing when I be seeing them holding that little sign that say slow on one side, stop on the other? They be trying to control the traffic. That's what they be standing there doing. And you got the unmitigated gall to be earning $30 an hour, just like that man that's about 10 yards away from you wielding that jackhammer, that if anything go wrong with his precision, he gonna hurt himself or probably somebody else. That man that's carrying that big old load or something on his shoulders. The other one that's working the little shovel thing and stuff like that. He done jumped down in the hole and all that kind of stuff. He liable to hurt himself. And you standing there with that sign talking about, and then I had the audacity to talk about a wage gap. If you don't knock it off. Thank you, Fit Feminist. A good wife takes her spiritual life seriously because she knows it is beneficial to her husband at home. She prays for her husband at home, and she also ensures her husband is doing well spiritually. Exactly. We're supposed to be able to do that. We're supposed to be able to make sure that the spiritual integrity of our home and the members in it is up to par. You're absolutely right. That's the craziest thing I be seeing is them women out there in them construction sites. Like, y'all ought to be actually ashamed of y'allself taking up that job from a man, when a man could be making that money to earn for his family, and you standing out there with the sign, and then you got the audacity to have on a hard hat like you doing some type of work. I double dog dare you to get in that earth moving machine and work it. I dare you. I dare you to go over there and handle that jackhammer and don't let it go all over the place. You be worse than Wile E. Coyote, just all over the road. Yeah, so Shada, I find them being in the military to be ridiculous. I find them being on the police force to be also ridiculous. I find women firefighters to be just as ridiculous because you don't have what it takes. Knock it off. You're not a man. Why are you trying to do stuff that men do? What's wrong with you? I don't even want to do that kind of stuff. And I grew up a tomboy. And I don't even want to do that stuff. I don't do that. Get out there, all in that hot sun. They got to be out there in the rain and all that kind of stuff. Trying to do some construction. Ooh, no. Mess up my jail set. No. I'll support him as he go outside and do, you know what I'm saying? I'll come up to his job with some food. You know what I'm saying? And his lunch break, you know, I done fixed him. I know it's about 5 guys on the crew. You know, I might have fixed him a sandwich too. And you come up there and you have him some lunch, and you have him a cool beverage. And, you know, you come up there and you look cute and stuff like that. Say, hey, baby, you know. And you bring him something to eat. And you kiss him or something and tell him you love him. Tell him to be careful. You know, you're praying for him. Brighten his day or something like that. I ain't going out there doing that. Anyway. Ought to be shame trying to do all this man stuff. Girl, if you don't have him a hot foot bath ready or something when he get in. And everywhere they police chiefs at Big Neff is the police department is out of order. And when they be mayors of cities is out of order. Chicago out of order because, well, Chicago is usually out of order politically. But Lightfoot ain't helping it. She ain't helping it. Anyway, I'm going to go ahead and get out of here. But I want to thank everybody for coming through. I want to thank everyone for their super chats, everyone for the cash apps. I want to thank you all for being patient with me as I took my call. That really meant a lot to me. So thank you very much for that. Thank you to everyone in the chat, especially Dr. Michelle today, who was giving us such beautiful wisdom in the chat today. So I thank you a whole lot for that, sis. So what we gonna do is we gonna get on our A game, right? So how do we become part of the A game family, and why do we want to become part of the A game family? Well, the first thing is the A game family is on point. Okay, we are on point. That's number one. But also, A game is an herbal solution for men that addresses their vitality, their strength, their energy, and their libido by addressing their blood circulation. Okay, so in order to become part of the A game family, all that you need to do is go into the description box, click the link for A game at agameherbal.com, and you can get a 10% discount using the code Kendra10. All right, at checkout, and you can have your order of A game being shipped to you ASAP. The product is wonderful. The customer service is 5-star. You cannot get a better product and service. You really cannot. If you are looking for something to help as a man, your overall health, and as a woman, the men in your life, to get that extra boost, to make them feel, more with more vitality, more energy, feel younger than they felt in years, this is what you ought to do. This is what you need to have in your arsenal, okay? All right, so I'd like to thank everyone once again for coming through, for the super chats, for the cash apps, and I'm gonna go ahead and wrap this up, and I'll catch you guys on the next one. Bye-bye, Crimsonites.
Hey guys, please like, share, and subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell. And if you've got more to say on the topic, leave a comment down below. Also, don't forget to support our sponsor who so graciously supports this channel by clicking the description box and the link for A-Game at agameherbal.com. You can go ahead and get a 10% discount off of your next purchase using the code Kendra10. This has been yet another Crimson Cure production, and I'll catch you guys on the next one.